Welcome back to another bonus episode of Left on Red with me, Julie.
And me, Brenda.
Okay, so the first dilemma is girls had a real WTF moment yesterday and just had to ask if I'm overreacting or what would you do. I was out for lunch with my friend, her husband, myself and my husband and our new baby. The baby started to cry, as they do, and when I went to breastfeed her, I could see my friend's husband was not happy with it, and my friend got really awkward and asked if I couldn't go somewhere more private. It was a small cafe and busy, so there wasn't really anywhere for me to go, but I get that it can be uncomfortable for people, so I offered to put a blanket to cover myself a bit more. Even though you couldn't see a thing, he then said that wasn't good enough and he shouldn't have to see that whilst he was trying to eat. He actually went out for a smoke whilst I was breastfeeding just so he wouldn't have to look at me. It made the whole lunch so uncomfortable and I feel like he was out of line. I actually snapped when he came back in eventually and I said I hope they don't have kids anytime soon if he can't handle seeing that, and she burst into tears and we all left shortly after. I don't think I was in the wrong. I was just trying to feed my babies.
Oh, that's...
My baby, sorry.
Did you breastfeed?
No.
No.
No, that was very, very wrong out of that man.
That was absolutely shockingly bad.
Like the baby was
day and age.
crying and she picked up the baby to breastfeed. Like nothing wrong with that.
I mean, it's nature.
It's nature.
It's nature. He was probably breastfed.
Yeah, probably.
How rude.
How rude.
How upsetting.
What would you do if you were with a fella and I was with somebody and we had a baby and we were out for lunch or whatever and I started breastfeeding in front of you and your partner?
And I would hope he'd sit there.
Yeah.
And just...
Would it make you uncomfortable?
No, but like, because I know he wouldn't be looking at you kind of going, she's got a pair of tits.
Yeah.
Like while you're doing that. Well, I'd be just
It is kind of, I would be not uncomfortable. It's grand, like, but it's a small bit like, oh Jesus, where do I look? It is like, where do I look here? Like I was often in situations where the mom would breastfeed and I like, oh God, where do I look? I do get a small bit like.
You get like that even though you're a mom?
Yeah.
Do you?
Small bit. Would you? Like if I just.
Well, I think the way I act to it is someone who doesn't want kids, right? Or who's not a mother. Before years ago, I would have been like, oh, Jesus Christ, because there was someone I was working with and she had to pump at work.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, what's going on here kind of a thing. This is years ago now.
Yeah.
But then it was second nature. And then I got very educated on it and I was like, I totally understand that. And I was like, well done you.
Yeah.
Working,
and I suppose like when you're friendly with them, it might be different. But like when I was in work, like obviously I worked in creches for, 12 years, something like that. We'd often have parents coming in during the day to breastfeed their babies.
And go back again.
And go back to work, yeah. But like they'd sit in the room with us and they'd chatting away. But I suppose because we were kind of, I didn't know them that well, I'm like, where do I look here now? Do you know, it's a small bit like, oh God. Like, do you know?
I think, the first times I would have seen it, I was like, what's going on here? Jeez.
Yeah.
Stuff like
and
that.
I'm not against it. I don't care. Like, whip it out wherever. Feed your baby wherever. But it's a small bit like if I was in their company, I'd be like, oh God, where do I look? Do you know, that kind of
Yeah. Like, what if I was breastfeeding now and you were with Brick?
Would I get on? No, I wouldn't get uncomfortable. But like, I know your man is
jealous there now.
Fainting. Like, fainting.
Well, I don't think the man be checking you out sexually like that.
He don't, but like, they get awkward.
They do get a bit awkward.
They do get awkward. Of course they do. Like, I was often like out with like visiting family members and we'd bring my brother, like it could be my cousin or whatever, and like they'd start breastfeeding. My brother would walk out. It's just uncomfortable for men. Like I
do
you know what I mean?
A relative like that, but I think the way that he did that, and if he was my fella, I would be absolutely disgusted.
I'd belt him.
I would, like, that would nearly be a deal breaker for me if I wasn't going out with him that long.
Same.
To show that kind of side, I'd be like, you're actually disappointing me so much, and in front of my friend.
Yeah.
That would be the killer, that it would upset my friend.
Yeah, and like the baby upset, obviously hungry, like. No, I wouldn't like that at all.
Yeah, and some people, shockingly, they're so uncomfortable with breastfeeding.
Yeah, I know.
Really, and like it goes, like it's a lot of it's the older generation.
Yeah, I'd often hear stories there where a woman would be sitting down breastfeeding her baby and an older lady, like I heard the story, like an older lady approached her and was like, "Can you not do that? Like in a private room?" Yeah.
I remember there was a place in Cork.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same place.
It was probably on the radio. I heard
Yeah.
the story as well.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Can you not go into the bathroom there,
Into the
please?"
bathroom, and it was an old, like an
Yeah.
elderly lady.
It's terrible.
Terrible, absolutely terrible. Like, you know,
Like, the baby's hungry. The baby needs nutrition,
Yeah.
and then the baby's crying out for it. What are you going to do? Ignore it?
and it's weird. You think like the elderly lady be thrilled to see this,
Because especially back in, like
she would have done it.
she would have done it.
Although I wasn't breastfed.
I weren't either, actually.
But
But do you think then, as someone who didn't breastfeed, do you think then, I'm just curious, there's a lot of pressure. Is there kind of like, I just asked you, did you breastfeed there? Because wondering was situations like that. But I think sometimes with women, there's a bit of a thing. Did you breastfeed? No, I am. Kind of like, as in I'm better than you.
Yeah, it's the same as C-sections.
Oh, is it the same C-sections?
Yeah, it's like, oh, you didn't give birth.
Oh, that's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I fucking did. I have 2 kids.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, they came out the sunroof, like, but like, I
They
still
came
delivered
out,
them,
you
like.
still carried them.
Yeah, exactly. I still delivered them, like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's a bit of that as well with labour, like
Yeah.
I was call it proper labour, but like I never. They're like, or some of the girl I remember never forget when the girls was talking her labour story. She's like, she wouldn't know. You never went through labour.
She said that too.
Yeah, like not in a
I
bitchy way,
know,
but a bit of
that's still a very hurtful.
dig as well, like, you know.
That's very hurt. Like, even though I know you wouldn't mean it, that's no, because you carried twins.
Yeah, I know.
9
Like,
months.
it's just a C-section, and like there was
Which
a bit of
is
that.
way worse to recover after.
Oh, sure, I was dead and buried. I said to
Oh
the
my
midwife, "You're after
God.
killing me." I said,
Like-
I'll never walk again.
Oh, I mean, a close friend of ours, I know she had one too, and she went through hell. But I didn't know, that's an interesting topic as well, if anyone wants to get in touch with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's lor@goloudnow.com.
But yeah, I think with that one, I'd be disgusted if that was him, and I don't think she overreacted or anything like that, you know? I think I think that the friend should apologise.
Yeah, because she started crying, I wonder she finding it hard to conceive.
That's true as well.
Like the way that she burst out crying.
Yeah.
And is there a bit of that as well in it?
Yeah.
You'd wonder.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
There is a lot to it, but
But
you're certainly not wrong anyways for feeding your baby.
Yeah, definitely not. So our second dilemma. Hi ladies, I came out of a long-term relationship where the love has just faded around 18 months ago. Shortly after, myself and my friend went out and I met a guy and we just hit it off, but I never got his number. A couple of weeks later, I was out again and met his friend and I asked the friend for his number. Turns out the guy worked in Spain. I texted him and we hit it off. And him asking me to come out to Spain to see him. Now, bear in mind, ladies, I only met him on a drunken Saturday night, but I just fell in love with his personality over text. 5 weeks into texting, I flew to Spain where he worked for a great weekend. A couple of months passed and I could feel him acting distant, a bit like myself and Paolo, with me, and pulling away. The texts were getting fewer and farther between. One morning, I woke to a text saying it was all over. I was absolutely devastated. Looking back, I think he was living it up abroad with other women and he just would not commit to me as the guilt was weighing on him. Ever since, we had been meeting up on and off, and I know he will never commit to me, but I know from his friends that he has been with other women. I feel like he blows hot and cold with me. He wants me to be at his beck and call, and also wants to be single. It is so difficult as we get on so well and I'm on a high when I'm with him, but the lows outweigh the highs. Recently I got a nasty message from him and just decided that enough was enough, and I blocked him for 8 weeks until I bumped into him on a night out and my feelings came flooding back. It was so difficult to have him blocked, especially as I could still see when he was trying to contact me, but it did take him 3 weeks to reach out. He even called me from someone else's phone to speak with me and asked me to unblock him, which I didn't. This led to countless voicemails from him and blocked calls. When we bumped into each other, he confessed to me that he loved me and told all his friends and my friends. He also said he was going to introduce me to his parents, which I was so excited by, as I thought, oh my God, this is it. He is going to commit. He is so close to his family, so I knew this would be a big deal. But the next day, there was no mention of us going to his parents. I had to play it cool, but I was secretly devastated and so disappointed, as I just knew he is never going to change. I decided to send a text the next day to tell him I was so disappointed and that I would always love him and to take care. He just replied, stay in contact with me anyway, won't you? So I just blocked him for my own peace of mind. Now, girls, this guy is no spring chicken and in his late 30s, so it's not like he is a young lad. He's previously been in a long-term relationship and I feel he would never commit and never, ever again. I feel like I'm after taking 10 steps back and find it so difficult this time around not speaking with him. I know blocking him is the right thing to do as it worked before, but it made him reveal to me how he really felt about me, but I don't know if he even means those things or if he was feeding me with what I want to hear. If he truly loved me, why would he not want to meet me? Why would he not want me to meet his folks? I cannot describe the chemistry between us and honestly feel so low when I am not speaking to him. At this stage, all I want to do is unblock, but know if I do that and send a message, he might not even respond as he loves playing mind games with me. I know I need to move on from this, but I honestly don't think I will ever feel this way for anyone else. I know he is not good for me. Do you think I am overreacting? Thanks for any advice. Love the pod. Wow. Do you know these really high energy chemistry relationships with people where it's just mind blowing? They often say that that's not the person for you.
They're not, so he's not the person.
Yeah, whereas all the men that I've probably fallen in love with, it's been that way.
Yeah, so like with you, I would just say block him, but I know you don't want to block him. So and what I feel as well from reading this email is like, I think you think, and you're telling yourself, I'll change him. Because we all said it. I'll change him.
Yeah.
I'll change him. And you know what? You can't change him. We can't change him.
You can only change yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you're telling yourself, I'll change him. We'll be grand. I'll change him. But you can't. I do think you're better off having this guy blocked and moving on. He is just wrecking your head.
He sounds absolutely actually sounds like men I've been with before.
He's just painful.
All these big games and the hot and cold. They honestly do say a man like that. And I'm always looking for that kind of the man with the passion and the crack and oh my God, it's like, oh my God.
I mean, but we're at a certain age now as well. And he's as old as us, like, and these mind games. No, like.
He's too old for mind games.
Yeah, no, like, man up.
I think as well when she texted him, like, after he didn't get her to meet the parents, he was like, yeah, take care anyway. Like, what a pig.
What a go, like.
What a pig. How hurt would you be over that?
Yeah.
But she seems to be drawn to him. She's drawn, there's some kind of a connection here.
Because, number one, he's treating her mean.
Yeah.
And now she's been kept keen.
Yeah.
Number two, we always want what we can't have.
Yeah.
And she's chasing that.
She's chasing that. And even if she actually had it, then would she even appreciate it?
See, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, if he ran her up the road to meet the parents and all that, like, you'd probably be like, oh, I'm over this fella.
Yeah. And do you know what the thing is then? The surprising thing is, and I don't want to upset the girl, do you know the way he's playing all these games and everything, it doesn't sound like he's going to settle? What happens then with this kind of folk? They meet someone then and within like 2 or 3 months they're probably engaged to them and it's all love. Yeah. They're changed. And you're like, what's that about?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
You see that happening,
Yeah.
Like, I know it's very bad. We all love those kind of men. We all love them, but they're not good for us. In your 20s and stuff like that, sure, I was still at it in my early 30s. You know what I mean? Chasing after these men that are really... Do you know these when they text, you're like, oh my God, he's after texting there now.
Yeah.
They say like that they're not meant for you, they're bad for you.
Yeah.
You shouldn't end up with someone like that. That's not good. And that's where I've gone wrong all my life.
And it's not good on your mental health or your own self either. You deserve somebody that treats you well.
That's it, because I always say as well, the highs are good, but feck it, the lows are bad. The lows are devastating.
They are. No, I would be 100% saying, block and move on, you deserve way better.
I would say go and delete the number.
Yeah.
Absolutely delete the number and just...
And I know you keep bumping into him, but like, even if you start going to places that you know he won't be at, and just keep him out of your life and try to meet somebody else because you deserve it.
Yeah, and you'll meet someone else who love you and care for you. At the time, you're kind of like, I don't want that person.
I just want him. But then when you get with another fella, you look back and you'd be like, what a donkey.
Yeah, like I used to be weak for a fellow situation like that, weak to another fellow I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And now I look, I'm like, what did I even see in you? I know he's texting me.
Yeah, well, we all had situations
and I'm
like that.
Nah, man, I've just no interest there.
Yeah.
You know, like it's finished. Like you had your chance.
Yeah, and you
know.
blew it.
You blew it, and now you're back
Yeah.
again. And
that might happen with
moved
you
on.
as well. This
Yeah.
might happen. Like you might meet somebody, and then your man will like hear that you're in a loving relationship, whatever. Your man be fainting. He'd be like,
Yeah.
"Feck,
Yeah.
I lost out there." And watch, he'll come crawling because they all come crawling.
They've got radars. They know when you're back with someone.
Yeah.
Or you're off with someone else. They have a radar.
Yeah, yeah.
They have a radar. So so that's what we say. Keep us in the loop. And if there's anyone else who want to email us with their dilemmas, what's the email, Jewel?
LOR.
GoLoud.
No.
Together. Okay, 1, 2, 3. LOR@GoLoudNow.com.
On that note, take care.
Bye-bye.